I'm Turk Strongman at Theron Kirama Taraka. Thank you for selecting this video on procrastination. Where that is making your cup of coffee for the morning last an hour and a half before you do anything else. All right, but before I continue, if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, I strongly suggest, in fact, I'm telling you, pause the video right now and do it. And while you're at it, activate the notification bell feature. And if by the end of this you like the video, give it a thumb up. And if you don't, if you didn't like it, give it your other thumb up. Just don't give it your middle finger. Share the joy of the channel with others. Now let's go. All right, I'm going to start right off with an example. Maybe I'm making it up. I'm not sure. I know somebody. All right, between you and I know somebody. When this person, I'm not even going to say male or female. Doesn't matter. Male, female, female, male. Ale. It's an ale. All right. Gets up in the morning. There's kind of like at least a tentative notion of what's going to go on today, what we're going to do, you know, what's going to happen, what this person's going to do. Right? This person kind of has a vague plan, at least a vague plan. All right. But first, there's got to, you know, got to wait. Got to have a cup of coffee first to get going. You know, like go from like sleep to doing that plan. Got to have a cup of coffee. Okay, so you know, got to sit down, just have a cup of coffee, wake up. Okay, now look. Let's just jump right to it here. Okay, look. Let's say I ask that person. Now this could be you. You check this for accuracy to see if this corresponds with you, and if it doesn't, how far off is it? It's probably not that far off, you know, for the purposes of this. What I'm getting at here. Big difference, okay? So, so let's say I ask this person, okay, look, if it was a cup of, you know, like, it's not hot, you know, it's just like lukewarm cup of coffee or whatever, you know, like comfortable temperature for you, really, you know, if you were just going to drink it, to drink it, right? Like, how long would it take? I mean, to drink the cup. How long is it going to take? I mean, let's be really, really, really easy about this here. Well, let's say 5 minutes. 3 to 5 minutes, okay? You drink that cup. All right? At what point, how many minutes would you say that a person is probably not just sitting down to get going, but sitting down and then sitting down? And not getting going. Now, how many minutes? If the person makes that cup of coffee last more than 10 minutes? I mean, how long is a cup of coffee in the morning? Let's just ask that, you know? How long does it take? How long is the morning cup of coffee? How long does that last? That thing. How long does it go on? 10, 15 minutes? 20 at the most? 20? Okay. All right. Let's just be really easy. Okay, 5 minutes to just drink a cup of, well, liquid. Okay. That's at a comfortable temperature. Coffee or something else, you know, water. Okay, how long does it take? Let's just say you're not somebody who's going to drink it straight down. Okay, fine. Yeah, I'm not trying to be extreme here. I'm being realistic, right? 3 to 5 minutes is... Come on, it might be more like a minute and a half, you know, but we're going 3 to 5 minutes. So let's also be the same, give the same leeway, the same flex room, wiggle room, okay, safety margin, plus or minus type situation here with, at what point, what number of minutes then is it not just having a cup of coffee to get going, but instead it's a thing in its own, and that's part of getting going, and that's, you know, going to be going on for a while. Let's say up to like an hour and a half before doing anything else. There. How about an hour and a half? That's the person I'm talking about. There. I did my best to build you up for that, with everything that I just said before that. See what I mean? The difference is big. Is that, you know, 3 to 5 minutes or 8 to 10, to answer the first question, is not a big difference compared to an hour and a half. When it becomes an hour and a half, I mean, at some point way before that, really, it becomes more than I'm going to have my cup of coffee to get going with the plan. Okay, how can I sum this up as kind of like a general principle of affairs? Here, I'll put it in the form of a question. How long does it take you to execute the plan? Not just that morning, whatever morning we're talking about, with respect to that cup of coffee, but I'm now talking about that same principle, that same way of thinking, that same way of going about affairs as with the cup of coffee pretend scenario here, about somebody I said I know, okay? Or how that might apply to you if you're a coffee drinker. If you're not, think of something to, like replace the cup of coffee thing here. Something, make it relevant for yourself, okay? Right? Okay, but now, that's a way of thinking about going about things, especially when it comes to getting going in a day. Yeah, there's taking a break there. They're having a little, like an omelet, maybe not. Maybe smoking your pipe a little bit, you have a little smoke, a cup of coffee, wake up, look at the paper, and then get to work, right? Get going, right? But when there is a plan, but it gets hijacked by a cup of coffee that just seems to never end. I mean, the first cup lasts so long, it's already time in the day for another cup. And so you're going to do 2, maybe. Anyway, hour and a half, all right? Okay. Big difference there now, right? Okay, so I think you get that. But here's the broader picture now. That same way of going about things, and like I said, especially if that's how you get started in things, then how much of your life, in general, just by way of the metaphysical law of analogy at work in things, what's taking place at one level is taking place at other levels. Just like, you're not going to go into a certain action that maybe you don't want to unless you have some strong interest and desire in that. So there, desire, interest, psychological factors related to an action. They're married to one another, okay? So I'm talking about a way of doing things and a way of thinking that might just be indicated by one thing that really stands out for you in your life that we're calling it procrastination, okay? But I'm going further than that. I put procrastination in the name of the video. I guess I will. I said I did here at the beginning of this, that it's about procrastination. But, I'm not really talking about, I'm talking about what really happens. I'm not talking about some name or what you think that name might refer to, or, some juvenile delinquent you once knew, and that's what you know of procrastination, the way that kid would do nothing. No, I'm relating with you in the terms of which that actually define the thing I'm talking about with you, okay? The actual stuff that happens. Now, how long does it take you to get going? And or to get to something? You put something else in front of it before it. Like, I gotta have my cup of coffee, which is legitimate, right? Really hard to argue against. Oh, you gotta have your cup of coffee. Oh, you're still having your coffee. Hey, it's an hour and a half. This person has a long cup of coffee. Now, it's not just a cup of coffee at that point, okay? Right? Now, this has to do with you and your life. If you're going to move along, motivate yourself, if you're going to get going, especially with something like your own personal advancement, your own personal, I don't mean like, becoming bank president when you started as a clerk. No, I'm not talking about that kind of thing. I'm talking about you're going to personally evolve, become more in your life, just become more, express more, exist more, have more consciousness, have more contentment, the things that I know you want. If you're a normal Homo sapiens on this planet, you're not going to be able to tell me that you don't want those things. Yes, you do. because they're deep. Everybody was. Even if they don't even realize it. If they're going to be honest with themselves, now that they hear it, now that it's actually, something to point to that in themselves, they're going to have to say at some point of honesty here, when they get to the point of honest bright, well then, you're going to have to say, yeah, I want that shit. Damn right. Who wouldn't? Well, that's because it's a core desire of the freaking soul, to exist more. To be more than what you currently are. To express more fully. To have greater consciousness. That is awareness, awakeness, aliveness, awareness, beingness, and greater control over that, greater contentment, greater love. I'm not talking about some connotation of love. I wish we had a different word for this one. Talking about the love you want. And I'm not talking about some fake love, that has anything to do with sex. Like if you're a masturbation procrastinator, if you're a masturbator procrastinator, in other words, you'd rather sit around and jerk off than to actually do something. The equivalent of the cup of coffee. But, you're not just going to knock one. You're not just going to spit one out. You're going to keep on going and going and going. You're going for your 7th shot. If you just can't stop. Because, really, at the bottom of it, you don't want to do what it is you had in mind to do in the first place. What you set out to do. Well, here's the thing. If it has to do with your personal involvement, your betterment, your movement toward greater self-expression, your greater awareness of things, and your greater consciousness, greater, what else did I say? Contentment, joy, contentment, love, expression, existence, consciousness. These are things that you want more of, and I know it. So how long are you putting it off? How long is your cup of coffee in this metaphorical sense now, okay? How long is your cup of coffee lasting? In question form, that is the point of this video. Alright, did you like the video? Give it a thumb up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumb up. With the other hand, no middle fingers. I give them back. Subscribe to the channel if you didn't already. Pause the video right now. Do it. Activate the notification bell feature while you're at it. Take care of that at the same time. Share the joy of the channel with others. Remember, you heard it right here on Theron Q Ramatraka. I'm Turk Strawman. Be well.